Hi guys, I'm Mario Fratto and this is Making the Case. So President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump have both tested positive for COVID-19. Now it's just been reported that President Trump has been taken to Walter Reed Hospital. Now they've said this is being done as a precaution just so he can be observed. He has offices there he can work from. Dr. Samadi has also said that President Trump is exhibiting mild symptoms, and because the virus is much weaker now than it's been before, and also because of advanced treatments, that President Trump should recover fine. But let's just send our thoughts and prayers out to President Trump, the First Lady, and anybody else with COVID right now, and let's really hope for a speedy recovery. Now, of course, when news breaks like this, you're going to see all sorts of reactions. Now, for the most part, at least on the right and anybody who's independent, there's been nothing but well wishes for the president. But there's been a large amount of people on the left that have had some really hateful responses to this, people going as far as wishing death upon President Trump or saying that he deserves this. Now, that's just sickening. But what I will say is that Rachel Maddow, who's a host on MSNBC, she's pretty far left, and she had put out a tweet wishing the president and the first lady a speedy recovery, and it seemed pretty sincere. So if somebody like Rachel Maddow, who's that extreme, can still have some class in a moment like this, you would hope that more people on the left could do that. But unfortunately, just looking at Twitter and social media, it's really been disgusting. So a lot of people want to know how this is going to affect the election, how it's going to affect the debates, and what else is going to happen moving forward because of this diagnosis. Now, not everybody is like Rachel Maddow, because Michael Moore came out and actually said that he believes President Trump is faking this for sympathy. I mean, you really can't make this stuff up. Now, there's no question that I believe this helps President Trump, but to suggest that he would fake this is really sick. Now, while that's disgusting, I do think this helps President Trump. Just last night, there had been some tapes released of Melania Trump by a former friend, and CNN and the rest of the left-wing media were covering this pretty hard. Now, I didn't think the tapes were that bad. Melania seemed like a normal human being in those tapes, but it was becoming the lead story on the news, and then within a couple hours, President Trump announced this diagnosis. Now, while that may seem suspicious to some people, and it did help bury that story, can you imagine if President Trump would have held on to the news of this positive test result? Then the media would have said that he's not being forthcoming with the American people. And you know his White House has been full of leakers, so this was bound to come out pretty quickly. So rather than wait, I think the president got in front of this and leveled with the American people. In fact, Kayleigh McEnany said that within an hour of the test result, President Trump announced this to the world. So a lot of people on the right think Joe Biden is going to use this as a way of escaping from another debate. Now, the quarantine rules right now, I believe, say that you have to quarantine for 14 days. Now, depending on the day you go with for this result, it's either October 1st or 2nd, and that would mean either the 15th or the 16th was the 14-day period that President Trump would need to quarantine. And we all know the second debate falls on October 15th. Now, postponing or canceling this debate would surely benefit Joe Biden. Now, there's also suggestions that the debate is going to be held in a virtual format, and again, that would greatly benefit Joe Biden. That way he could have a teleprompter, he could have his earpiece, he could have people holding up cue cards or whatever he needs to do. So that virtual debate is really not something the president would want to do, and I don't think anybody wants to see that. I think they want to see both of these guys back on the stage and have a real debate without the interruptions and without a moderator who was clearly biased towards one side. However, I don't think that's going to happen, because the moderator for the next debate, if it takes place, was a former intern for Joe Biden. So in some sort of twisted fantasy, the New York Times questioned whether President Trump should remain on the ballot at all just because he's tested positive for COVID-19. So Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany responded to that today. Take a listen to the response to that shameful suggestion here.
The New York Times is coming under fire for suggesting President Trump may not remain on the ballot. President Trump, it says, quote, revealed early Friday morning that he and the First Lady had tested positive for the coronavirus, throwing the nation's leadership into uncertainty. If he becomes sick, it could raise questions about whether he should remain on the ballot at all. Kayleigh, what's the response from the White House when you hear that from the Times?
What a ridiculous assertion by the New York Times. That may be the hope and the wish of the New York Times, but President Trump is the president of the United States. He's on the ballot. He's hard at work. And look, if you look at the jobs report just today, those remarkable numbers, getting below 8% unemployment, no one thought that was possible. It's a testament to what this president has done. He's put his head down, he's worked, he's continuing to do that, and he will all the way through November.
Real quickly, I don't know if you heard Karl Rove has come up with all these ways the president can actually work from home. And it was interesting. He talked about like a telephone town hall. He had quite a list. Will we see a national address from the president?
Look, I won't confirm exactly what you'll see from him, but it's safe to say that you'll be seeing and hearing from the president as he moves forward with his working schedule.
So I agree with Kayleigh McEnany. I think President Trump's going to keep campaigning. I expect to see a lot of virtual rallies and town halls. I expect him to do a national address at some point, and I hope he does. And I hope he uses that address to speak about things other than COVID-19, because he really didn't have a chance to do that during the debate. He was constantly interrupted by Joe Biden and Chris Wallace, and he never had a chance to just speak his mind. So I believe he should use this opportunity now to address the country. Overall, I do believe this fight with COVID-19 for the president and the first lady will help him during the election. The only way I think he gets hurt by this is if it prevents him from having another opportunity to debate Joe Biden. But let's just hope that the president, the first lady, and anybody else who's fighting COVID-19 makes a speedy recovery. Guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.